Sam has been in love with his best friend Emma his whole life, but when they were young, Emma only had eyes for one guy, Jesse. At a pool party, years ago, Emma expresses her disappointment of not being friends with Jesse to her best friend Sam. As Jesse does a perfect flip and then emerges from the water, he shares a flirty glance with Emma and she is smitten. There goes Sam's chance at anything. Later, when the police bust the party, instead of running away with Sam, Emma is taken away by Jesse. In the present day, we see Emma is home with her family, celebrating her engagement with her fiancé Sam Lee. The old friends found each other after being separated for years and everyone in that room is happier for it. Once upon a time, they did not get along as much. Emma's sister Marie expresses her love for Emma, and Emma thanks her for forcing her to learn an instrument. While she didn't end up learning one anyway, she did reunite with her best friend, Sam. They all toast to Sam and Emma's new beginning. After a love and fun-filled evening, when it is time to leave, Emma suddenly receives a call from an unknown number. When she answers the phone, Emma hears the voice of the man she never thought she could ever hear again. It is her husband, Jesse. Her dead husband, Jesse. Jesse says on the phone that he is alive and is making his way back to her. Emma's whole world comes crashing down as she can't cope with this sudden news. Back in the past, having escaped the cops, Emma and Jesse eventually get caught, and they're brought to the station. There, they talk about their dreams and Emma tells him that while her sister, Marie, would love to take over their family's bookstore in town, Emma doesn't want to be confined within this town. She tells him she wants to see the world. Jesse is impressed by that and tells her she isn't like how he imagined she'd be. Emma is surprised and secretly happy to know Jesse has thoughts about her. While talking, they realize that both of them have a crush on each other and they kiss. And then we see how Emma and Jesse have grown up and are still together. They're living the life of their dreams, traveling the world together. Emma is now a travel writer and Jesse is a photographer who documents her travels. From exploring the corner of Asia and Europe, to finally finding their home base in Venice Beach, Jesse and Emma always remain happy with each other. There's never a dull moment for them, and when Jesse proposes to her, there's nothing Emma can say but yes. They are the perfect people for each other, soulmates. Emma and Jesse get married at a family cabin in Maine in the presence of their loved ones, and all is good and well, just as it would be in a fairy tale. But life is far from being one. In the present, there's an air of awkwardness between Sam and Emma. Emma remembers the last time when she saw Jesse. The two of them had separate projects to work on, and Jesse hopped onto an amazing opportunity to fly to Alaska and make the documentary he has been waiting for. Even though he'll be gone for their first anniversary, Emma doesn't hold him back. She chooses to stay due to work obligations, and Jesse promises her that he'll be back soon and then they will celebrate their anniversary. Emma happily lets him go chase his dreams. In the present day, Emma is unable to sleep and opens up her old Jesse box in which she finds the articles about his disappearance and death. The movie skips back a few years and we see Emma getting a call. She then finds out that Jesse's helicopter crashed, and while they found the pilot and the co-pilot, Jesse's body was not among them. The man on the line tells her that Jesse might not have survived the crash. Emma's happy world tilts on its axis and we see that she starts spending her days looking out into the sea, just waiting for Jesse to swim his way back to her. 3 days in, Marie asks Emma to stop torturing herself and to accept the truth that Jesse is now gone. But Emma refuses to just give up on him. Jesse was a long-distance swimmer and she believes he will be back. Marie reasons with her, saying that it has already been a week and the officials have given up the search. This breaks Emma's spirits and she can't imagine how her life will be without him. Marie stands strong for her sister and comforts her. She tells her to come back home and stay with her, and they're going to build a new life for her, but only after she is done grieving. She holds Emma as she breaks down. In the present day, Emma arrives at the bookstore in the morning where Marie asks her how she is feeling after the news. Emma doesn't know what to think, and as Marie processes this situation, she realizes that what is the happiest day of Emma's life might also be the saddest one. Either way, whatever decisions she makes, she will be breaking someone's heart, and she tells her that Emma is allowed to be happy and heartbroken at the same time. Marie's summarization of her disastrous situation does help Emma sort the mess out, and she wonders why she ever hated Marie when she was younger. When Marie gets a better look at Emma's outfit, she banishes her from wearing that to receive Jesse. Emma changes into a beautiful dress and feels nervous as she decides which engagement ring she should wear to greet her back from the dead husband. After much contemplation, she eventually decides to wear no ring. At Jesse's family house, Emma meets his parents, who don't seem too thrilled to see her. A bunch of reporters are gathered there to see the man who came back from the dead. Before Jesse arrives, they tell Emma that they haven't told Jesse she moved on and has a fiancé now because he has already suffered enough. The minute the car stops, Jesse runs out and straight into Emma's arms. The two embrace passionately and the cameras capture their emotional moment. Jesse is in a haggard condition and it is evident that he has been through a lot during his time lost at sea. Emma takes him inside and they finally get a few moments to themselves. Meanwhile, Emma and Jesse's epic reunion is televised and everyone at Sam's work knows about it, but neither of them is too optimistic about Sam's chances after this. Poor Sam, when he sees the news and his fiancée kissing her husband in front of the whole world, is left devastated and so very confused. Back at Jesse's house, Jesse swears to her that he will spend his life making up for the time they've lost, and Emma has no choice but to confess the truth. When she tells him that she is engaged to be married, Jesse starts laughing hysterically and says that this is the worst thing he has ever heard. Before they can talk more, it is time for him to face all the people that are there for him. Before Emma leaves, they decide to spend some time with each other in the cabin in Maine. When Emma gets home, she finds Sam cooking her a non-dairy grilled cheese sandwich even though he wasn't sure if she would return that night. Emma feels grateful to have him. When Sam tells her that he knows about her kiss with Jesse but isn't mad at her, Emma feels so lost and doesn't know what to do. As Sam consoles her, one thing leads to another and the two spend some romantic moments together. Later, while holding her hand, Sam realizes that Emma isn't wearing her engagement ring. He gets upset and tells her that she is going to have to choose between him and Jesse. Sam is heartbroken as he suggests that maybe they should call off the wedding. This surprises Emma, but Sam tells her that if they are ever going to have a future together, she needs to go and figure out what she wants. Emma agrees that she needs to be on her own right now. Before she leaves, Sam makes sure to hand over her Jesse box because he doesn't trust himself to not set it on fire. As confused as she is, Emma knows what a great man Sam is, but leaving is the right thing to do right now. Emma takes asylum in her sister's house and tells her about her trip with Jesse. Marie has no words to offer on that, but when Emma asks her if someone can be in love with two people at the same time, Marie has some sound advice for her. She tells Emma that she is a different person when with Jesse and a completely different person with Sam. It is not about who she loves more, but about what person she wants to be. The one who could be with Jesse or the one she is becoming with Sam. Emma is wowed by Marie's advice. That night, Jesse, Emma, and Sam, all three have trouble falling asleep. The next morning, Emma comes to pick up Jesse, who looks fresh as he used to. As the two head out, Emma gets a text from Sam saying, "I hope you're doing okay." But Emma doesn't know how to respond to it. Instead, Emma heads over to the bookstore because she seems to have forgotten something there. While talking to her, Jesse finds out that Emma is the one who runs the bookstore now. He is pretty shocked to know that because running the bookstore was something she absolutely hated. But she tells him that after she lost him, she came back home and the bookstore found her. At the bookstore, Jesse is welcomed back by Emma's family and also meets Marie's daughter. Marie discreetly hands Emma the box she forgot at her place, and soon, Emma and Jesse are on their way to the cabin. Meanwhile, Sam is having a hard time keeping it together. Everyone, including his students, know the mess that his life is in. While Sam is trying to teach them music, the kids want to know all and everything about what Sam is going to do about his husband-in-law. Though Sam doesn't indulge them, it is no secret that his mind is still on Emma. He waits for her to text him back, but all he gets in return are 3 dots which disappear after a while, and Sam has an outburst in front of his students. Jesse and Emma arrive at the cabin and settle in. While Jesse lights up a fire, Emma fetches them a drink and they talk about how a lot of things have changed since then. When Jesse sees Emma's tattoo that reads, "And so I walked on," he can't help but feel the weight of the years they spent apart. The two reunite with a kiss and spend a passionate night together. While he is asleep, Jesse is haunted by dreams of his torturous time on the deserted island. He wakes with a start and is relieved to find Emma in his arms. The next morning, while Sam wakes up all alone, Emma wakes up to the sight of Jesse. Emma can see that Jesse appears a little shaken up and she asks him about what happened to him when he was lost. But Jesse shuts the topic down. He just wants to spend time with her for now. On the other side, Sam is having a difficult time dealing with things, especially with the flood of reporters outside his house asking him questions he himself doesn't have answers to. Sam manages to escape their questions about his wedding and Emma and Jesse and gets out of there. When Jesse and Emma head to get breakfast, Jesse talks about moving and traveling again, but those don't seem like Emma's plans anymore. She would much rather stay home in Acton. Jesse is surprised to find out that Emma is no longer a travel writer and she rather enjoys running the bookstore, and that is a converted book lover now. When it is time to place their orders, Jesse realizes that even Emma's regular order is not the same as before. As they take a stroll, Emma tells Jesse about how it was her parents and Marie who had basically nursed her back to life after she had lost him. That's when she was introduced to books and started reading about all the women who had loved and lost and had to continue living. It was then that, for the first time in a while, Emma had felt like she wasn't alone in that unimaginable grief of hers. That there were others who had been through what she'd been through. And that was good enough to keep her afloat. She tells him that this town helped put her back together after she had just about given up on life, and while she might have thought back then that the great adventure was out there, she eventually realized that it was right at home. Raising her kids in this town would be a great adventure for her. Jesse is a little shocked to hear that because the Emma he knew never wanted any kids. She tells him that while she wasn't sure back then, she is now. Jesse feels grateful for their home to have helped his wife pull through when he was lost. Sam, meanwhile, continues to have a disaster of a day. After trying to avoid the inevitable, he finally erupts in front of his students and ends up spilling the beans on his messed up love life. He goes on about how he was always the first one in Emma's life, but somehow always lost her to Jesse. For once, Sam just wants Emma to love him more than she loves Jesse. His students are riveted by Sam's heart-wrenching story and don't when he tries to begin the class, they don't let him stop talking. Meanwhile, Jesse doesn't have a license, on account of him being dead for 4 years, but he insisted on driving, and despite Emma's warnings to drive slower, Jesse and Emma get pulled over by a cop for speeding. When the cop asks for Jesse's license and registration, Emma helps him get out of the situation by telling the cop Jesse is lost at sea story. She grabs the old articles from her Jesse box and shows them to the cop. In that box, Jesse finds a letter addressed to him and keeps it. The cop lets them go, but he asks Emma, who has a valid license, to drive instead. When Jesse finds out that Emma changed her name back to her maiden name, it upsets him to his core. When they get to the cabin, Jesse gets mad and blames Emma for not waiting for him while he was struggling to get back to her. Emma tries to reason with him, but Jesse doesn't listen. He asks her if she loves her fiancé, and Emma says yes. This breaks Jesse's heart even more. When he finds out that the guy Emma is engaged to is Sam Lee, Jesse's words turn into knives, and he blames Sam for being around the corner to take his chance. Emma defends Sam and herself, telling Jesse that he has no idea what she went through. Jesse snaps and tells her that while he was alone for 4 years, all he thought about was her and coming home to her. He is devastated to find his reality altered. When he accuses Emma of not waiting for him long enough, she tells him that she had to start living her life and learn how to be without him. But Jesse cannot be reasoned. Not wanting to hear more, Jesse runs out, and worried, Emma chases him. Back in Sam's classroom, he continues to vent, and soon it is a full house. Everyone wants to know about Sam's epic love life, and while ranting, Sam comes to the conclusion that he can't win against a man who came back from the dead after surviving the desert island for his wife. Poor Sam knows the fate that awaits him, and it doesn't seem like it'll be in his favor. Jesse runs up to the lighthouse where he and Emma had gotten married. He climbs up to the top and finds Emma's letter in his pocket and starts reading it. In the letter, Emma tells him that it has been more than 3 years since he has been gone. She goes down memory lane, telling him about how she survived that time. And we see moments in Emma's life after Jesse's death and the ways in which she copes with the unimaginable pain she felt. She couldn't sleep or eat, would listen to his voicemail message on repeat just to hear his voice again. Until one day, Marie introduced her to reading. She suggested that Emma can benefit from reading about women who have been through the same situation as hers. At first, Emma was reluctant, but soon enough, with her family's efforts, she started reading and healing. She writes that as she started finding happiness in life again, in the small things, she realized she was getting ready to let go of the sadness. And then one day, her life changed when she walked into the music store and bumped into an old friend, Sam Lee. In the present, Emma finds Jesse and tells him to continue reading the letter. Back in the past, we see that Sam and Emma instantly clicked. One chance meeting leads to another planned one, which then leads to 6 months of togetherness. Emma had finally started to feel happy again. 6 months in, Emma confessed to him that she thought she might be in love with him, but she didn't want to say it just yet. Sam also felt the same and confessed that he had been in love with her ever since they were kids. A few more months of bliss passed, and Sam surprised Emma with a sweet wedding proposal. He got help from his students who performed a symphony that he had composed just for her. Emma's heart warmed at that moment, and she felt love as she'd only ever felt once before. When Sam gave her the ring, he only asked that she keep it safe until she was ready to wear it. And the happiness Emma felt then seemed to have healed every broken part of her heart. Later that night, she finally sat down to pen a letter to Jesse, telling him about her life and what had become of it after him. She wrote about Sam and the kind man that he was, thinking that Jesse would have liked that for her because Sam always makes room for her love for Jesse, and accepts her knowing that Jesse will forever be a part of her. It was at that moment that Emma decided to give happiness a real shot. She later proposed to Sam because he was her second chance and pulled her back from the arms of death. Sam accepted her proposal and the rest is history. As Jesse reads on, he sees Emma asking for his blessing to move forward in life and to love once again. After he is done reading, Jesse thinks back to his wedding day. He tells Emma that while he was crazy nervous, he knew one thing for sure: he picked the right person to get married to. But now, he realizes that it doesn't stop there. One has to keep being the right person, and people have to change together to stay the right person for each other. Jesse tells her that he wants to be with her and that they can stay in Acton for a bit, but Emma wants to stay here forever. She wants to be with her family and build a life here. Back then Emma felt differently about this town, but after Jesse's disappearance, this town saved her. And now she wants to love this place back just as much as it loved her and healed her. But Jesse doesn't want to be tied to a place ever again now that he is finally free to go anywhere in the world. He realizes that Emma is no longer the woman who kept him alive while stranded on an island, but he is not bitter about it. And though she has changed, Jesse still wants to try and be with her, just not in Acton. Emma tells him that she can't be who isn't anymore. As the two realize their dreams and wants from life are no longer in sync, Emma and Jesse come to a sad conclusion. Their love story is meant to end here. While they're finally leaving the cabin, Emma tells Jesse that she hopes he believes that she never stopped loving him. Though Jesse doesn't right now, he tells her he is trying to. The two drive back to Acton and Emma drops Jesse home. While leaving, Jesse thinks that they weren't meant to be after all, but Emma doesn't think something has to last to be real. She tells them they were meant to have been. Jesse accepts that answer and thanks Emma for saving his life. They part ways. Emma puts on her ring and rushes to find Sam, hoping it hasn't been too late. Meanwhile, Sam, after a long discussion with his students and colleagues, accepts defeat. He leaves it all up to Emma to decide, though he knows the end will be exactly how it has always been and he will lose her to Jesse. Just as he is about to leave, one of his students tells him that he is doing exactly what he did in high school when he lost Emma the first time. He is giving up like he always did without telling Emma how he feels. They make him realize that while Jesse has always stated what he wanted and gone for it, Sam has suppressed his feelings because he doesn't think he can have it all. They collectively urge him to give this thing all he has, and if he goes down, at least he'll go down trying. Sam realizes that he can't lose Emma this time and everyone cheers for him as he rushes out. Meanwhile, Emma goes looking for him at their house. Sam arrives at the bookstore where he runs into Marie and demands to know where Emma is. Marie tries to hold the truth until the very end, but she ends up telling him that Emma is at the cabin in Maine with Jesse. Sam curses his luck. When Emma comes looking for Sam at the bookstore, Marie tells her that she just missed him. Emma asks her if Sam looked hopeful or devastated. Marie informs her that after finding out about the cabin in Maine, he was definitely devastated. Emma curses herself, thinking that she has ruined everybody's lives and now she has lost them both. Marie is just surprised to know that despite everything, Emma is not mad at her, even though Marie was the one who asked her to give up on Jesse and move on. Emma tells her that had she not done that, Emma would have lost her mind just waiting for Jesse to return. She knows she did the right thing then and it led him to Sam. And now she can't lose him. Sam is at a stoplight when he gets a call from Emma. As Emma hysterically tells him that she needs him back, Sam is unable to hear her due to bad reception. And then, in the chaos, Emma bumps her car into someone. Turns out, it is Sam's car she bumped into. Sam tells her that he has been terrible for days and has officially lost all semblance of privacy with his students. He doesn't let Emma stop him and continues to go on about how he has loved every version of her and will continue to do so because he is madly in love with her. And now he doesn't want to settle for parts of her. He wants her to be all in. An emotional Emma confesses that she loves him too and is all in. The two reunite in a dramatic, public confession, romantic way and begin their lives together. Cut to 2 years later, Emma finally has it all. The exact life she said she wanted to have. A thriving bookstore filled with customers and loved ones running around. She and Sam even have a baby on the way. Things with Jesse also turned out well. While on his travels, he writes to her telling her about a woman named June who helped him get back into the water. He is learning to move forward in life and is looking forward to a future that he has only because loving her kept him alive. And for that, he owes her everything. As Emma happily looks at her husband Sam, struggling with the baby seat, she knows she is in the right place.